there, fans of the Survivor Super Fun Time Show. This is Kevin from the Survivor Super Fun Time Show, and today we're going to be going over the finale for Survivor 45, which, it was a really good finale. I thought there was a lot of ups and downs. I had major predictions going into it, and how well I did those predictions, questionable, arguably questionable. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Also, we'll go over what happened in the Survivor 45 Super FUNtasy draft and what the results were there. You had some old stallions in OWEN KNIGHT and LINDSAY CARMINE of Survivor 43 of the Baka and Coco tribe, respectively, take on myself in a pick'em of Survivor super teams going into 45. That was when we just looked at the cast bios and we saw the little bit information from the footage, and we decided to pick players. And I think you'll be surprised by how well we actually did in the end, and who ultimately was the winner of the season. But before we get into that, remember, if you want to see more videos like that in the future, in addition to castaway interviews, some top 10 lists, and fun things that'll be happening in the future, please hit the subscribe button, because this channel doesn't make any money. It doesn't cost anything to be a subscriber, but you know what it does cost, if anything? Your love, your attention. In exchange for all the effort I put in and all the wonderful information castaways have given to this channel and will continue to give this channel, all you gotta do is hit that subscribe button and you have a really sweet deal, if you ask me. But anyway, on to the episode. I actually predicted that D was going to be voted out at 5. Now, I have to clarify, not because I thought D was playing a bad game, not because I didn't think she was playing the best game. I thought she was playing the best game. I actually thought maybe D raised her threat level just high enough at 5 that she would meet the same fate as other just stacked players going into the finals, like Ricard in Survivor 41 or Jesse in Survivor 43. Now, Jesse went out at 4 at Fire, and Carla was at 5, and Carla was a badass at 5 too. Her threat level was super high. So I assumed D was going to be hit that same way. But that didn't happen. Some combination of Jake and Katurah bungled the vote at 5 to the point where D, little Miss D, actually got past that part. Mama J was voted out, and she actually got to the final 4 with immunity. So D essentially just strutted her way to the final 3. Mama J was someone that I had predicted was going to win the season right before the finale. Did I feel that way from the edit, or did I think it was a good narrative ending? Honestly, not really. It was just more of a gut thing that I thought the finale would be a little more interesting because it seemed like it was going to be a clean sweep for D before the episode had started. So I thought maybe they would mix it up a little bit and Mama J would get us out of nowhere. But that's not what happened. Then moving on to the final 4, I mean, I knew Katurah was going to be going to Fire. I had no doubt going into that. And Jake, it made sense that Jake would have to be the one to do it. Although, if I'm D, I think to myself, who do I want to drag into the finals? And the answer is Jake. I love Jake. I think Drake's hilarious. I would love to see him play again because, boy, did he get one of the worst hands ever. I mean, like, I don't know who had a worse, being in the middle of everything but having no power in the new era more than Jake. Like maybe OWEN KNIGHT from 43. Either way, they both got to the finals, so you got to give that to him. But Jake fought to get into Fire and fought to have one moment, and he did. But he eventually got his moment against Katurah, who had recently had a string of a few interesting, notable moments in the episodes, to the point where leading up to the finale, I was actually really surprised because I would listen to some commentary or talk to some Survivor alums about who they think or want to win the game will be. Almost across the board, it was 2 people. 1, D, because I think everyone recognized how great D had played. 2, Katurah. And it was fascinating to me because for weeks leading up to the finale, I sat there and I said, okay, so we can discount Jake and Katurah pretty much right away. They're definitely not going to win. And then it's a matter of who do you think of Mama J, Austin, and D will win with D as the front runner. And it's super fascinating because there's so many people, including like Stephen Fishback from Survivor Know-It-Alls. Rob has a podcast. He was on Survivor Tocantins and Cambodia. Was like, yeah, D's my front runner, but I'm being convinced about Katurah. And same thing with like James Jones from Survivor 43. He's like, man, I'm telling you about Katurah. I never got it. I never understood it. Like, don't get me wrong. If she gets to the final 3, I think she could have pleaded her case better to everyone than maybe anyone else. However, she didn't have enough bullets in the gun to take them out. I mean, Austin and D had way more bullets. Jake arguably even had more, but I wouldn't make that argument, but he arguably did. So that's why when Katurah got knocked out, it was no surprise to me. I mean, she's had a big upbringing. She's had a hell of a lot of life stuff go on, and she's come out the other end, which I'm very thankful for. However, I just didn't see it happening. So then you're left with the final three of Jake, Austin, and D. And Austin had just been dragged to the final three by D for that one vote. Myself, as someone who unashamedly had been rooting for Austin to win the game since basically the beginning. I thought Bruce was going to win it in the very beginning because I met him at the 44 finale and he looked really skinny. Unbeknownst to me, a lot of the other 44 people were at the finale, or 45 people were at the 44 finale, and I didn't see them. So I didn't know. So I thought he was going to win, but really Austin was the person I was rooting for, with Emily as kind of a backdoor person. But once Austin got there, I said, I don't know if he's going to be a killer. I think he needs to make fire, just to have another thing in his cap in order to possibly take on D. And he didn't. But, you get to the final tribal where Jake, they didn't really show many of Jake's answers because they probably just weren't very relevant to the end. And when we saw the votes, which I think D and Austin both crushed their final tribals, we saw the votes and it laid out. Austin got 3 votes. More than any runner-up in the new era. And then you got D, of course, got the lion's share, got 5. So D wins Survivor 45. Not very surprising. I was surprised Austin got as many votes as he did. One we kind of assumed was automatic from Drew, one from Bruce, which we probably could have guessed, but who knows. And then 3 from Kendra. And it was really interesting seeing kind of the discourse on Twitter afterward. And I pay attention to Twitter the most for Survivor stuff, although I dabble in Reddit as well. Both of them problematic in different ways. What we find out after the vote of the episode is that Bruce voted for Austin because, frankly, he just got along with Austin better. Like, they just had a better relationship. Same thing with Kendra. Austin was Kendra's boy. And Drew, I thought he was kind of a game bot, so it could go either way. But he did vote for Austin, which I thought was great. And obviously, D got the rest of the votes after that, which totally makes sense. D should have been the winner of Survivor 45. She played an outstanding game. Now, if we want to get into the Survivor Super FUNtasy draft results, in the beginning of the season, Lindsay, Owen, and myself, we did our draft. We picked 6 players each going into Survivor 45. And basically how it went down was, whatever place you get knocked out, that castaway, you get a point for that. So if you get knocked out first, you get 1 point. If you win the game, you get 18 points for that castaway because they are the last one standing. So for example, in the first round, Lindsay drafted Bruce, I drafted Austin, and then Owen drafted D with a 3rd overall pick. I got 17 because I had Austin. But I got a bunch of bonus points for Austin, and same thing with D because of, first of all, immunity idols, but also for individual immunity wins. Same thing with Bruce. He won some individual immunity. We ended up getting additional bonus points for that. Now, where my team fell apart, I took a lot of Lulu players. I took Hannah Rose, I took Sean, and I took Sabaya. I got killed. By points, the ranking goes, in 3rd place, myself, which is not super fun, I got 57 points total. In 2nd place, Owen the Night Stallion with 63 points. Did an awesome job. He chose the winner of the season. It just didn't work out in his favor. And then by 8 points, winning by 8 points, LINDSAY CARMINE, formerly of the Coco tribe, kicked our butts and won the game with a lineup of Bruce, J. Maya, Katurah, Drew, Jake, and Brandon. She definitely climbed that ladder, unlike Brandon over there. But it was a really fun time. I love doing drafts like this. Hopefully for 46, we have another awesome draft lined up. Maybe I'll even make like a little belt or a trophy for LINDSAY CARMINE. So, she's now the reigning Super FUNtasy draft champion, I guess, at this point. So who knows? Maybe we'll have to pass around a little championship and a title in the future. Overall, Survivor 45 gave me so many things I wanted. Like the quitter storyline in the beginning of the game, not amazing. Like Brandon didn't quit, but he was doing pretty rough. And thankfully, ever since then, he's been really fun. And he's just a good dude. He's really fun. You should follow him on Twitter. Hannah Rose just popped up on Twitter. She's really awesome. It's a shame it didn't come through on the screen because it only lasted 1 episode. The transition of Emily from episode 1, by the end, everybody was rooting for Emily at that point. And it's a shame it didn't work out for her. But, not every hero is meant to actually accomplish what they're supposed to. What can I say? Bruce, I thought Bruce was an interesting one. I found myself so much of the season like defending Bruce in many ways. I don't feel like he needs to be defended, But like the whole season, it felt like the editors edited Bruce to be the punchline of everyone. But like it feels like they could never really point to what he did wrong, but they definitely did it. And it was kind of frustrating for me. And maybe, who knows? I've met Bruce, he's a good dude. But like maybe he did something out there that particularly just didn't jive with the generation, and it made all of Belo really not dig him. I don't know, but for the most part, his reads seemed okay, at least in the beginning. At the end, it sounded like he was pretty not clued into a lot of things. But, you know, he brought a lot of fun to it. His immunity run for a while was pretty fun, because I love it when somebody keeps winning immunity and the rest of the tribe is mad they don't get them out. It kind of reminds me of like Mike Holloway in Survivor Worlds Apart. Now, he immunitied himself all the way to the end, essentially. Or like Terry Dietz in Survivor Panama, when they finally got him out. That was like a big accomplishment. And that's how these players felt when they got out Bruce. It was a nice little addition to the storyline. And obviously the romance between Dee and Austin, the sandwich idol that Austin ended up getting, the boys montage, the Kenny Loggins boys montage was hilarious.
Wednesday, baby, let's go.
The 90-minute episodes were dead on point. Truly dead on point. I loved it. They need to keep that going, in addition to the opening credits. If they don't do the opening credits, I will think they are royally screwing up and they are misunderstanding the Survivor fan base. Right now, their ratings are better than like they've been in, I don't know, 10 years. So they need to keep this energy going. Hopefully Jeff doesn't overcomplicate things. They have calibrated from season 41 to 45 now in a way that I think works. 41 had a lot of problems, in my opinion. When people look back and say it was a really good season, I don't know what they're talking about. I find it to be very difficult to watch. Super difficult to watch. 42 was a little better. 43, better. 44, I actually think regressed a little bit. But the mechanics, I think, got better. And then 45, we've nailed it. So keep that going, and I'm sure it'll be a really, really awesome viewing experience moving forward. But that's going to do it for this episode. Hopefully you all enjoyed the finale. If you didn't, let me know down below. Did the person you thought would win the game? Were you surprised Austin got as many votes as he did? Were you surprised Katurah didn't get there? Let me know. I would love to talk with you more about it. And of course, remember to hit the subscribe button if you want to see more stuff in the future. And let me know if there's anyone from the new era you particularly would love for me to talk to, because there's so many cool people that I could reach out to that I've talked to that would totally be down for this kind of thing. It's just a matter of you, the viewing audience, let me know who you would like to chat with. But that's going to do it. Hope you all have a wonderful day. You take care. And remember, I got to go because these coconuts aren't going to vend themselves, okay? So you all have a great day.